Hi, today we're going to talk about finding the wines that you like. How do you know what wines you're going to like if you're brand new to drinking wine? Well, probably if you're drinking it and watching this video, you're not totally brand new, but it still applies. There's a lot of different wines out there. Now you can say Cabernet Sauvignon. Well, that covers a lot right there because there's no two Cabernet Sauvignons that are alike. You get one even half a mile down the road from the first one, two of them separated by that much, and there can be a world of difference just because of the techniques of growing and this type of thing. But even backing up from that, do you even like Cabernet Sauvignon to start with? How do you know until you've tried it? So that's the key to it. You got to try it. The only way to really learn about wine is to drink it. I mean, I can talk about how it tastes. It has this flavor note. You can smell this and all these cool things. But until you actually get a glass full of it and sip it for yourself, you're not going to know. You're not really going to know. You can know it comes from France, it comes from Israel, it comes from wherever it comes from. But until you taste it, you don't know if you like it. You don't know anything about it other than book learning type things. And which nothing wrong with that. But you gotta, sooner or later, you have to actually try it. It's like you can read books on how to drive a car, but sooner or later you got to get behind the wheel and take the brake off, foot on the gas, and aim. Hopefully you've read enough and you have somebody coaching you on it. But anyway, so let's get back to wine. How do you find out what you're going to like without spending a fortune buying 20 bottles to get 20 samples? It's like you get that first bottle, you pour some out, you taste it, it's like, oh, this is horrible, I can't stand this. So you've wasted money on that bottle. You try the next one, maybe you like it, maybe you don't. So it's a real trial and error. Fortunately, there's a lot of people in the wine industry that recognize this and they do these little things to help you out. Now this is based on your local laws, your local liquor laws, so it may not apply where you're at, but you can probably find someplace else in a different county or across the border somewhere that's a little bit different. And what I'm talking about is a wine tasting. For example, locally for me, I can go to the grocery stores that also sell wine. They do sell some good stuff too, not just really cheap bad crap that you also find in gas stations. But anyway, you go to the grocery store, one in particular is local, and they have a full wine department, and they have some very knowledgeable people working there, but they will do wine tastings. So you wander in on a Saturday evening after work when you're doing your grocery shopping, and here over to the side is this little table set up, a little gal or guy or whatever, has a bunch of wine bottles in front of them, some little bitty cups. And you wander over and they say, would you like to taste some wines? And you say, sure. Most of the time, that type is free. It may not be, again, depends on your local laws, but if there's a cost for it, it's minimal. It's not like buying a whole bottle. So what you do is you get these little free samples of wine and they pour it out of the bottle for you. And of course, what they're wanting you to do is taste it, like it, and buy it, which that's fine with me. If I taste it and like it, I want to buy it. So get the first one, you taste it, and like, ooh, this is terrible. It's like, what was that? Or you should know what you're drinking first, I suppose. Say, what is it? And they say it's wine A, and you drink it. Oh, I don't like A. Let me try B. Oh, B's not too bad. That's okay. Wine C. Oh, that's even worse than wine A. So you might go through 4 or 5, depending on what they're serving that night or daytime. They do these throughout the weekend, usually around here. And hopefully you find one you like. So you say, okay, well, I don't know how much is it, and it's in your price range. So you pick up that bottle and you take it home with you, and you enjoy it at home. And you think, oh, good, now I've got something I can enjoy. But the key thing on that you want to look at is what type of wine was it, and by that I mean, was it a Cabernet Sauvignon? Was it a Merlot? Was it something else? If it was a white wine, Chardonnay, Sauvignon Blanc, Semillon, whatever. You want to know what you're drinking. Or in some cases, and you just kind of keep this mentally, or you write it down if that works for you. Take a little notebook with you. You also want to know, where did it come from? Well, this was a Cabernet Sauvignon out of California. Where specifically in California? It doesn't say, okay, it's just a generic California wine. Maybe it was one from Sonoma Valley. Maybe it was one from Central Coast. Who knows? Or maybe it's a French wine. It's from someplace in France. Well, what part? Again, how's it labeled? This is something that you get to learn later on, as you partly experience, and I'll talk about it in later videos. But you want to start out with something. Get something in your hand in a glass in front of you and try it. So you have to get some idea if you like it. Now let's say you tried a Cabernet Sauvignon, and I don't really like this. Okay, that's fine. You don't have to like everything. I certainly don't. All right, you come in maybe next week or a couple weeks later, and they say, "What do you got?" "Oh, I've got this Cabernet Sauvignon, but it's different than the one we had last time. This is a different brand, a different vineyard, or a different country even." So don't at that point don't say, "Oh, I tried Cabernet Sauvignon before and I didn't like it, so I don't want this." No, go ahead and try it. You may be surprised because the cab that you had first may be a lot different than the one you have in front of you now. So you try that one. Still don't like it? That's okay. You didn't lose anything. It's probably a free tasting. So give it a try. Keep notes, either mental or write them down, what you're liking, what you're not liking. You might get to a tasting where you like them all. It's like, oh wow, there's like 4 different wines and I like all 4 of those. That's okay too. You may not want to buy them all that day, but write them down or remember them somehow. It's like, oh yeah, it's the one with a hot pink label or something like that. Then the next time you're in the store, if they don't have something you like and you still want a bottle of wine, we'll say, oh yeah, remember I tasted that one. So let's go ahead and take that one because I know what it tastes like. I know I liked it. So that's how you learn what you like. You got to try them. You sample, sample, sample. If you're going over to friends' houses serving wine, ask them what it is. If they serve, if you spit well, whether you like it or not, ask them what it is. They may be more knowledgeable, maybe they're not. Maybe they just grab something off the shelf because they like the label. Doesn't matter. You taste it. If you like it, you may want to buy some of your own. So you look at it and you say, well, it's this type of wine from this vineyard, and there you go. It's a Merlot from Tipsy Kitty Vineyards. So you go to the store next time, since you liked it, you pick up a bottle of Tipsy Kitty and bring it home with you. So that's how you do it. It's just you taste it. Another alternative too, you might just get together with a group of friends and do your own wine tasting party. Say, okay, everybody go out to the store, buy a wine from France or buy a wine from California or whatever it is. Pick a criteria. Or everybody go out and buy a Cabernet Sauvignon, and we'll all get together and we'll all sample each other's. So different ideas, different ways you can learn what you like without spending a lot of money. And just simply ask if you can get a taste of it before you buy it. Some places, a wine shop might even do that for you. If they've got some open or they get a lot of requests for it, they might actually have a bottle. Another thing you can do is buy it by the glass. Go to a wine bar, or a lot of bars will say wine by the glass. You don't have to buy the whole bottle. So again, cheaper ways to find out what you like. So I hope that helps get you some ideas going. We'll talk about some specific wines in the video coming up here very shortly. And in the meantime, cheers. That cork. Just, push it in enough where, oh, there we go. That went in pretty well. If you can see it, I got just a tip in there. Now, apply some downward pressure and just start turning. And you want to keep it as straight up and down as you can. So you're getting right through the middle of that cork. And once you get it started, now this is pretty well in there, so now it's pretty easy. Just a couple fingers, keep twisting, 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 and then you want to stop. I usually like to stop about a half a turn. And if you look at that, you can see there's just that one little curve left on here. I have found with this particular opener, and it's true with most of them, they're pretty uniform in size, that if you go another half a turn, it'll